Now we will move on to our last keynote session. We are pleased to have our last speaker of the day, Mr. Arijit Chakraborty, with us. Mr. Arijit Chakraborty, Partner Technology Consulting, PwC, has specific focus on technology consulting, technology solutions implementation, and performance improvement of businesses. Mr. Arijit has 22 years of experience with a work portfolio that covers implementing large cross-border technology-based solutions, setting up offshore outsourced operations for delivering services to clients, and optimizing technology-enabled service delivery globally. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Mr. Arijit Chakraborty with a round of applause.
Good afternoon, everybody. And thanks to Bangladesh Brand Forum for having me here. So in the next couple of slides, what I'll try to cover some of the insights that we have gathered through our consumer insight survey. We have been doing this for last 6 years, and this year in 2018, we covered approximately 22,000 consumers spanning across 27 countries. And also we tried to see like how technology advancements, the technological advancements are going to reshape the future of shopping. So the first observation that we made, I mean, the shopping habits are changing very fast. And thanks to the proliferation of mobile internet, mobile phones, and smartphones, what used to be a traditional customer's moment, when a customer walks into the shop or a retail store and then the moment starts, the kind of experience the customer gets, depending upon the sale happens or doesn't happen. Today, the world is something like a combination of many micro moments. And it's not just within the store, it's also outside the store, it's throughout the day. So broadly, there are 4 such micro moments which actually shaping the consumer habits. The first one is the customer wants to know. It doesn't matter where the customer is, the customer wants to know about a product or a service. The second micro moment is the customer wants to go to somewhere to experience the product or service. It could be a shop, it could be some other experience center. Now, how can the customer gets most easy way to access that kind of places? The third micro moment, which is actually more pertinent for the retail business, is the customers want to buy. Again, doesn't matter whether the customer buys it from a store, outside the store, from an online store, or some other means. Omni-channel is something which is a buzzword. I mean, like you get it from whatever channel you want. And then the fourth micro moment, and that's a new habit, we would say, customers want to do. So it's not about like buying a set of crockeries. The customers are also interested to take a culinary lesson, and they're willing to pay for that. How can you create that micro moment? So those are the 4 micro moments are getting shaped, and the habits are keep changing. And thanks to technology, this is accelerating in a much faster way. So the second observation with respect to the habits that we found is customers are increasingly putting a lot of emphasis on delivery and returns. If we look into the traditional way of shopping, customers go to the shop, buy something, and then take that goods back by themselves to the home. Today, the perception is like order is placed somewhere, and then it is getting delivered at the home through a box. Worldwide, all the retailers are saying this is where their business is struggling to scale, because this is the place where they are either building their own logistics and delivery mechanism, delivery infrastructure, or they are relying on logistics service provider to do that for them. And they're facing a lot of problem. Customers are also expecting that the box delivered to their doorstep, if they don't like the goods or the particular product that got delivered, they want to return it back. They don't want to go back, carry that product, they want to just return it back. Again, coming back to the logistics service provider, how to do that. So in the entire industry, a lot of bets are being placed. Some agencies are trying with hyper-local delivery services. Some agencies are trying to buy a lot of logistics companies and building their own infrastructure. At the same time, some of the related sectors are also getting impacted. To give an example, in India, the commercial vehicle makers, they have started designing new products, the vehicles, commercial vehicles, focusing that the retail companies, the e-commerce companies will be the user group of that. They may not buy it, it may be bought by a logistics service provider, but the vehicles are designed for that. So those are some of the sectoral and cross-sectoral changes that are getting shaped with respect to this changing behavior of customers. And the third one, which is happening, I mean, most like in some of the Western European countries and North Americas, some of the customers are actually saying that they would like to have the delivery being made using some of the newer technologies like drones. So drones can fly very quickly, cover a couple of miles, and deliver my product right in front of my doorstep. So there are experimentation going on. It's still to be seen, like whether this will be commercially viable or not, but experiments are happening. So when we ran through that survey, an interesting fact came out. So what I did, here on the left-hand part, you will see some of the charts, and this was pertaining to the question to the customers, like how often do you buy a product through a particular channel? And we gave them 4 options. You go to a store and buy, or you use a PC, or you use a tablet, or you use a mobile phone. It's no brainer that the in-store sales will be higher. What is interesting, during the first 3 years of our survey, or first 4 years of our survey, we saw there was a steady decline in the store visits. And there was a steady increase in the mobile usage. But then the situation started taking a new turn. So after 6 years, the in-store visits are as good as it was 6 years ago. On the site, usage of mobile to do all purchases of retail goods and services, I mean, that is increasing. So that's an interesting trend, which tells us that the physical stores are going to stay and it's going to be stronger. The question is, how can we leverage both channels, mobile as well as physical store, and deliver maximum benefits and maximum good experience to the customers? And because the habits, the way it is changing, customers are preferring to visit the physical stores over the weekend, do their online shopping during the weekdays when they are on the go. They are searching information in the mobile. Sometimes they visit the store to see the product but place the order in the mobile, and so on and so forth. And that brings to the question of talent or people. Knowledgeable in-store associates, I mean, they continue to influence the customer habits. Think of a case where a customer visits a store and meets a very talented in-store associate. The customer had a quite interesting, meaningful conversation about the products. The store associates first listened patiently, understood what exactly the customer is looking for, showed a couple of options, price comparison, feature comparison, all those things happened, but the customer did not buy the product. She left the store, and then on the way back, made a couple of searches on the internet site, and then purchased the same material from the same company's online portal. So for the retailer, the sale happened. The question for the retailer is, do the retailers today have a mechanism to incentivize the in-store associate for this online sale that just happened? If not, what can be done about it? Because physical store visits will continue to happen. Customers' habits are changing. If the in-store associates are not properly trained and developed for this new world, the businesses are going to suffer. And talent development and how their rewards and recognition structure been done in such kind of customer habits, that's becoming very important. In US, Macy's has embarked one such transformation journey where they actually are trying to merge the inventory from online to offline and trying to make a seamless behavior and also try to reward their customer associates even if the sale happens online. So they are putting some of the newer technologies like geocode detection, zip code detection when the purchase happens, and then the store proximity to that location gets the credit for that. So those are some of the newer thinking that are coming on the place when the customer's habits are changing. Let's talk about computer algorithms and its role a little bit about here. Since the concept of free will is a philosophical concept, I think, for a couple of years, 100 years maybe in place, it started. All businesses, they also started aligning themselves central to the customers. So when we talk philosophically that free will, for a business or for a retailer, it means customer is always right. And when customer is always right, that means that customer is free to express her desire, is powerful or empowered to make her choices and take the buying decisions. And the job of retailer is to actually engage with that customer to understand and comprehend those desires, cater to the choices, and influence the buying decisions. But that was a construct of last century. In the 21st century, the power of computing becomes so much evolved, and also the knowledge on the associated technology like biotechnology and other physical sciences have been so profound. Today, algorithms can actually understand a customer much better than the customer know himself or herself. And that's reality. Algorithms can monitor a lot of biometric data. They can monitor the blood pressure, the brain activities, the eye movement, and can actually profile the customer in a much better way than the customer himself can express. And that opens up a new world in front of the retail business. Because if a retail business deploys the right kind of powerful algorithm and track all the behavior of the customer through internet site click, through visits, through other interactions, they will be able to tell like what exactly can be done to influence a buying decision. Bottom line, if a retailer wants to sell a fizzy sugary drink, something like Mojo, to a customer, algorithm can help them to say, like show this particular advertisement at this particular time through this particular device. And there is a probability of 90% that this particular customer will buy this drink. And that puts a question, like what used to be thought that customer is always right, is it going to get compromised with the power of algorithm? The businesses which are going to adopt this faster will get some competitive advantage. But still, customer is always right. In the 21st century, there are two lessons that were taught to us with the technological advancements. The first lesson was progress was deflationary. Why? Because the computer that was used in 1969 to make a successful lunar mission can fit within our pocket today inside a smartphone. The second lesson, computing is getting perpetually cheaper. So the computing power can be affordable, and a powerful algorithm can be deployed by an individual for her own use at free of cost. That's where the world is heading. Now, when that happens, we get an algorithm which understands the customer much better than the customer understands herself and does the work much better. It is also probable that the customer will increasingly start relying on those algorithms to do all the transactions and purchases. And we already have an example in our life, Google Maps. 5 years ago, we used to see Google Maps, but the way we rely today to take the directions and go from one point to another point was not there. Today, particularly in the developed world, most of the commuters, they rely on the direction provided by Google Maps. They don't apply their own judgment. Does that mean that Google Maps are perfect? No. It is just doing better than the commuter himself or herself could do. And the moment it started doing better job, the responsibility got handed over. What would happen if a customer starts relying on an algorithm to take buying decisions? Algorithm can do price comparison faster, feature comparison much better, and will be completely immune to a campaign. No advertisement can actually influence that algorithm. So what will happen in that case if a sale can be initiated? Because all through these years, retail industry, geared up, all the infrastructure, people, computer technologies geared up like you interact with a human customer and make a sale. But today we are talking about a human customer who is empowered by algorithm and how to make that sell. So that's a new challenge that's going to come for the industry to solve, and we'll see what's happening. So in our survey, what we tried to understand that what is the profile of those customers who are already using some of the artificially intelligent algorithms or AI devices to do purchases or something similar to that. So what we thought about those early adopters or AI, one interesting revelation, I think, again, it's not very surprising, that the profile of these people are an age group between 18 years and 24 years, the younger population. But what is very interesting is they have a very high expectation of the product delivery. About 25% said that I want the goods to be delivered on the same day, and I would like to pay for that if it is required. The second interesting revelation is that majority of them are very optimistic about the macroeconomic scenario. So they believe that economy will be doing better and we will be living a better life. And another interesting is they are putting a much more value on experiences. So they are much more interested to sign up or enroll for a paid culinary class before they can think of how my kitchen should be decorated or what kind of utensil should I buy. So that's another, and some of the retail outlets, they started thinking whether I should add a new vertical to cater to this particular line and influence the customers. So those are some of the interesting habit changing that's happening when algorithm is assisting a customer to make a buying decision. And with all this happened, I think throughout this day, we talked about building trust a lot. So, and it's going to get much more important. It's not going to reduce. And the reason is the kind of products that we are buying and consuming today requires a lot of trust to be imparted on that product making process rather than what we can see and confirm. So many retailers now actually started building the trust platform to ensure that the customer understands like how the trust is getting delivered. To give an example, Tmall in China, they actually embarked into a project and used one technology called blockchain to track all their food products that get imported from Australia and New Zealand. And the technology is such that it actually tracks the entire product movement from its farm to the shelf of the store. And customer can actually go and scan the barcode and see where the product is coming from. And all these they are trying to do to actually deliver trust to the customer and indirectly to tell the customer like, yes, this product is genuine. If you don't see this kind of traceability in your food product, probably you are not buying the right thing. So with all these, the final word comes that how technology is going to shape. So in this particular slide, on the left-hand side, if you see, that's a traditional retail transformation journey. You build your stacks. So at the ground level, you need to have the basic hygiene in place. You need to have your retail process management. You need to have your management reports. You need to have your point of sale systems. You need to have your web presence. But as you go your transformation journey forward, you also start integrating other functions, and you have your fleet automated, or if you have a third-party logistics provider, that get integrated. You have the product movement tracking through some of the newer technologies. Next level, you get into much more analysis. You do the footfall analysis, you do the click analysis, and all sorts of analysis. And finally, you try to deliver your customer experience and also experience to your people, the people who work for the retail industry. And while this transformation journey happens and these stacks get filled out, on the right-hand side, those are the newer technologies that are going to impact and shape that particular journey. About 3 years ago, we conducted a scan on around 150 newer technologies to understand like how they are going to impact the society and lives in general. Of that, we identified 8 new technologies which we believe that is going to impact everywhere. Those are artificial intelligence, augmented reality, blockchain, drones, Internet of Things, virtual reality, 3D printing, and robotics. But while those technologies are also maturing, but we find that the technologies are also joining hand with each other. As example, AI does not work as a standalone AI. It actually works on an IoT device, or it works on a drone or some other component to deliver a solution or to deliver an innovative platform which we call embodied AI. Similarly, blockchain doesn't work alone. It joins with AI and IoT to create the platform where you can automate and deliver the trust automatically in an automated way. Automation is no longer a mindless automation. It is going to be intelligent automation. So robots powered by AI will bring automation. Similarly, some of the interfaces, the way human-computer used to interact, I mean, that is becoming conversational. We no longer use keyboard and mouse only. We also talk to the computers. So that what we are seeing, that conversational interfaces, because the devices can now track your voice, devices can now track your eye movement and also take inputs through that. And finally, augmented reality, virtual reality, artificial intelligence combined can give you an extended reality, which actually for the retail industry is going to be very more important, because most of the retailers are experimenting with that, like how we can provide much more better experience to the customers using these VR and AR kind of tools, and we call that extended reality. So in our scan and analysis, we have found these 5 themes that are emerging with the help of newer technologies. Those are conversational interfaces, extended reality, intelligent automation, embodied AI, and automated trust. So I think all through the day we talked about technology a lot, and all of us agree that technology is going to shape the future of shopping. But technology is also going to shape the habit of the customers. And retail industry is also going to keep pace and change accordingly throughout in the course of the time. Customer is still going to be the central. Only thing is that the habits and behaviors and interactions with the retail industry is going to be a lot more different. With that, I'd like to conclude here. Thank you.